Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtiki. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Chakshurunmilitam Tasmai Shri Chaitanya Napitam Yena Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirviseshasha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, before we begin today our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, I would just like to, yesterday we were speaking about hearing. So y'all were mentioning about hearing and how it's helping you. Well, it's helping because we are all hearing from Srila Prabhupada. He's a pure devotee, and Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken by Sukadev Goswami. You know, so because Bhagavatam was spoken by Sukadev Goswami, although Bhagavatam exists since time immemorial, it became even more sweeter because it's coming from the lotus mouth of Sukadev Goswami. And Prabhupada, he's given us this valuable purport because he studied the commentary of the various acharyas, and based on that, he's giving us this purport. So this is what we are experiencing, and we are feeling that we are able to understand the matter in a better way. It's all the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. So I just wanted to say that. And so we continue with 2.639. Sa esha adaya purusha kalpe kalpe svajati ajaha atmadmani atmanatmanam sa samyachati paticha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. That Supreme Original Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, expanding his plenary portion as Mahavishnu, the first incarnation, created this manifested cosmos, but he is unborn. The creation, however, takes place in him, and the material substance and manifestations are all himself. He maintains them for some time and absorbs them into himself again. Oh, so nicely Lord Brahma is saying the whole creation in one in one shloka. The creation is non-different from the Lord, and still he is not in the creation. This is explained in the Bhagavad Gita 9.4 as follows. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani na chaham teshva avasthitaha. The impersonal conception of the absolute truth is also a form of the Lord called avyakta murti. Murti means form, but because his impersonal feature is inexplicable to our limited senses, he is the avyakta murti form. And in that inexplicable form of the Lord, the whole creation is resting. Or in other words, the whole creation is the Lord himself, and the creation is also non-different from him, but simultaneously, he, as the original personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, is aloof from the created manifestation. So the light which is coming out from the body of Krishna, the Brahma Jyoti, that is everywhere in the spiritual world and in the material world. So both the spiritual world and the material world is situated, all the planets are situated inside this light. Now, the light which is coming out from the form of the Lord is also a part of Krishna. It's not different than him. It belongs to him. So it is his light. Yeah, although he himself is a person as Shyam Sundar. So the whole creation is resting on him because it's resting in the light. So, and because it's coming from him, it is himself because it's his energy, but yet he's different from it. So this is the concept that Lord Caitanya came to tell us specifically, that achintya bheda abheda tattva, simultaneous one and yet different. One, why? Because we all belong to Krishna, we are all his energies. And different, why? Because we are all individuals and Krishna is a supreme individual. And everything else is his energy. The impersonalist gives stress to the impersonal form or feature of the Lord and does not believe in the original personality of the Lord. But the Vaishnavas accept the original form of the Lord, of whom the impersonal form is merely one of the features. So we have seen that the impersonalists, they say that the ultimate realization of God, ultimate realization of the absolute truth is light. But the Vaishnavas or the devotees of the Lord know that the source of this light is Sri Krishna himself, Shyam Sundar himself. And the light is just one of the features in which he is recognized, in which he is known, as he's known as the Brahma Jyoti, the Paramatma, and his personal feature. All three of them are God. So the impersonal, the Brahma Jyoti is his partial realization of God. It's not incorrect if we say God is light, but it's not perfect. And then again, Paramatma is not incorrect if we say God is Paramatma, but it's not complete. But when we say God is Krishna and the light and Paramatma are all him, that is the most perfect conception. So the impersonal and personal conceptions of the Lord are existing simultaneously. And this fact is clearly described both in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and also in other Vedic scriptures. Inconceivable to human intelligence, the idea must simply be accepted on the authority of the scriptures, and it can only be practically realized by the progress of devotional service unto the Lord, and never by mental speculation or inductive knowledge. Now, we might think, oh, how can it be? You know, we can't understand what's happening. But well, we have to accept what is stated by the authorities. As we always accept the authority of the teacher, although we do not understand what the teacher is saying, oh, you must write down ABC, you know, we don't understand it that time, but we just follow the authority. Similarly, we follow the authority of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And same as when we are children, after we follow the authority of the teacher, after some time, when we continue following the instructions of the teacher, then things become more clear. Oh, I can make words, I can read, I can write. Similarly, the more we engage in devotional service, the more this concept of Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva will become more clearer. So the thing is that we need to engage in devotional service and not try to use our own, challenging method or trying to understand it by logic. That doesn't happen. Krishna is supremely independent. He reserves the right that who he wants to disclose himself to. He does not like to disclose himself to people who are envious of him. Same way, we do not like to speak about ourselves, our family, what our thoughts and feelings are to anybody and everybody. But to somebody who really would like to know us, the person is nice to us, we open up our heart to them then. So the impersonalists depend more or less on inductive knowledge, and therefore they always remain in darkness about the original personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. Their conception of Krishna is not clear, although everything is clearly mentioned in all the Vedic scriptures. So because the impersonalists, they're trying to understand God, who's unlimited, with their tiny intelligence, then what happens is, because we are so small and God is unlimited, we will never be able to understand him. We will get more and more confused. And then who is God? We don't know. So that's why they don't have a clear conception of God. So a poor fund of knowledge cannot comprehend the existence of an original personal form of the Lord when he is expanded in everything. This imperfectness is due more or less to the material conception that a substance distributed widely in parts can no longer exist in the original form. So it's because the impersonalists, if we say, oh, we take a piece of paper and we cut it, and then the original paper is gone and now it's all pieces, it's everywhere. So the original paper does not exist anymore, if we argue on that point. But then paper is very different than the supreme person, Krishna, who is God. A paper is a dead matter, where Krishna is supremely conscious. So Krishna can be everywhere and yet be a person. Yes, he can. The original personality of Godhead, Adaya, Govinda, expands himself as the Mahavishnu incarnation and rests in the causal ocean, which he himself creates. So Krishna, when he wants to create this material nature, how does he do it? He expands in Mahavishnu. Of course, he first expands as Balaram, then Balaram expands into Sankarshan, Anirudh, Pradyumna, and Vasudev. Then those are called the Chatur Vyuha expansions. Then they again have the secondary Chatur Vyuha expansions. Again, they expand into Sankarshan, Anirudh, Pradyumna, Vasudev. Then from them comes the Mahavishnu incarnation. But we can directly say that Mahavishnu is coming from Krishna. Why? Because all these expansions belong to Krishna, nobody else. And then Krishna creates this causal ocean, the Karana ocean, where he lies down. He lies down over there. And the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma is saying, Ya Karana Nava Jale Bhajati Swayoga Nidramananta Jagat Andas Saroma Kupaha Adhara Shakti Avalambya Param Samurti Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. Lord Brahmaji says in his Brahma Samhita, I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who lies down in the causal ocean in his plenary portion as Mahavishnu, with all the universes generating from the pores of hair on his transcendental body, and who accepts the mystic slumber of eternity. So even Lord Brahma is giving us evidence, because Lord Brahma can see what's happening, that Krishna, he has expanded as Mahavishnu, and he's lying down in this causal ocean, and all the universes, unlimited number of universes, are coming out from the pores of the hair from the body of Mahavishnu. When he breathes out, all the universes get manifest. And when he breathes in, all the universes go again inside his body. And he's in yoga nidra, mystic slumber, you know. He chooses to be in yoga nidra. So this Mahavishnu is the first incarnation in the creation. And from him, all the universes are generated and all material manifestations are produced one after another. The causal ocean is created by the Lord as the Mahatattva, as a cloud in the spiritual sky, and is only a part of his different manifestations. So as we've been saying, the spiritual world is three-fourths, 75% of the Lord's creation, and this material world is only 25%, one-fourth. And in this 25% also lies down in this Brahma Jyoti. It's only one tiny part of the Brahma Jyoti. Krishna puts the Mahatattva there. He puts the causal ocean there, and then he's lying down in the causal ocean as Mahavishnu. And then he's lying down in the causal ocean, and then from there he looks at the Mahatattva. So the spiritual sky is an expansion of his personal rays, and he is the Mahatattva cloud also. He lies down and generates the universes by his breathing, and again by entering into each universe as Garbhodakshay Vishnu. So he's sleeping in this causal ocean. When he breathes, all the universes comes out. Then when all the universes comes out, then he enters into each and every universe in his form as Garbhodakshay. He's entering into each universe as Garbhodakshay Vishnu. And then from Garbhodakshay Vishnu, he creates Brahma. We know Garbhodakshay Vishnu, from him comes the lotus flower where Lord Brahma is sitting. And then so he creates Brahma, Shiva, and many other demigods for maintenance of the universe. And again absorbs the whole thing into his person, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.7. Sarva Bhutani Kaunteya Prakritim Yanti Mamikam Kalpishaye Punastani Kalpashaye Punastani Kalpada Visrajami Aham. O son of Kunti, when the kalpa or the duration of the life of Brahma is ended, then all the created manifestations enter into my prakriti or energy. And again, when I desire, the same creation takes place by my personal energy. The conclusion is that these are all but displays of the Lord's inconceivable personal energies, of which no one can have any full information. This point we have already discussed. So Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita also that I create the material universes, then again, again they enter into his body. So this is how the creation and the dissolution keeps happening by the breathing of Mahavishnu. And so all the material elements are there in him. And then Lord Brahma just gives shape to all these elements. All the living entities are put inside this Mahatattva by Mahavishnu. We are all in the body of Mahavishnu, and when he breathes out, all the universes comes and he puts us there. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So then text 40 to 41. Vishuddham kevalam jnanam pratyak samyak avasthitam satyam purnam anadiyantam nirgunam nityam advayam rishe vedanti munayaha prasan tatmendriya yashyaha yada tad eva sattarkes tirodhiyeta viplutam. The personality of Godhead is pure, being free from all contaminations of material tinges. He is the absolute truth and the embodiment of full and perfect knowledge. He is all-pervading, without beginning or end, and without rival. O Narad, O great sage, the great thinkers can know him when completely freed from all material hankerings, and when sheltered under undisturbed conditions of the senses. Otherwise, by untenable arguments, all is distorted and the Lord disappears from our sight. So here is an estimation of the Lord apart from his transcendental activities in the temporary material creations. Mayavada philosophy tries to designate the Lord as contaminated by a material body when he accepts forms of incarnation. This sort of interpolation is completely denied herein by the explanation that the Lord's position is pure and unalloyed in all circumstances. So the Mayavada philosophy, they say that when Krishna comes to this material world, when he takes these different incarnations, Krishna has so many incarnations, Varaha, Nishingha, Kurma, Matsya, Krishna himself, when he comes as himself, also they say his incarnation, Balaram. So what they say, that this form is material. They say that it's material and it is under the modes of nature. Yeah, this is the Mayavada philosophy. But here we can see that the Lord's position is completely pure. He's completely pure anywhere, even if he comes in the material world. He does not stop being God. He does not stop having his own Sachidananda body. It's like, for example, we say when he enters the prison just to meet the prisoners, it doesn't mean that the king is a prisoner. He's just coming there to see how the prisoners are doing. It doesn't mean that he is going to be jailed and they are going to put him in a jail cell and not let him get out. And he has to follow all the rules and rules of the prisoners. No, he's a king. He just came to visit here to say hi, hello to the prisoners. So same way, when Krishna comes here, he's just coming here to attract our hearts, to tell us, hey, this is not your permanent home, come back home. So he's coming as himself. He does not stop being Krishna. He's always Krishna, same as the king is always the king, even if he's coming into the prison house. So according to Mayavad philosophy, the spirit soul, when covered by nescience, is designated as Jiva. But when freed from such ignorance or nescience, emerges in the impersonal existence of the absolute truth. But here it is said that the Lord is eternally the symbol of full and perfect knowledge. So what the Mayavada says that right now the soul is ignorant, so that's why it's in the material body and it's called the Jiva. But what happens is when the soul gets enough knowledge, when it gives up the ignorance and when he realizes, okay, now I'm the soul, when he doesn't have this body anymore, what he does is he enters into the body of Krishna, which is in his form as the light, the Brahmajyoti. But we can know that God is always God, and we are always going to exist as individuals. We are never going to become God. We are never going to be able to, even if we go inside the Brahmajyoti, we will still remain there as souls. We are never going to just be destroyed and become nothing and become light together with Krishna. No, that never ever happens. This is his speciality, perpetual freedom from all material contaminations. This distinguishes the Lord from the individual, the common living entities who have the aptitude for being subordinated by nescience and thus becoming materially designated. So because we are so tiny, we do have the tendency to come under this material energy and get covered by ignorance, where we forget our identity. But Krishna never forgets. He never forgets who he is. The forgetfulness is only for us. We keep changing our bodies and then we forget who we were in our past life. We even forgot what we did 2 days ago. We can't remember everything. In the Vedas, it is said that the Lord is Vijnanam Anandam, full of bliss and knowledge. The conditioned souls are never to be compared to him because such individual souls have the tendency to become contaminated. Although after liberation, the living entity can become with the same quality of existence as the Lord, his very tendency to become contaminated, which the Lord never has, makes the individual living entity different from the Lord. So after we get liberated, after we go back, we give up this material body and we are situated as the soul, then the soul is the same quality as Krishna, Sachidananda. Krishna is Sachidananda, we are Sachidananda, but we are eternally different individuals. But what happens is that we always have this, anytime we have this tendency to again forget who we are, to come under this mode of, under the control of this material energy. But Krishna never has that, never ever. So we can never ever become God because we can never give up this tendency. It's always with us because we have this free will, right? Where we want to go. So if we choose to come to the material energy, again, we will come under the modes of nature. And so we are tiny, we are not unlimited. Only Krishna is unlimited. No matter how much we want to become Krishna, we can never ever become Krishna. No matter how much we are infatuated with the idea that I will, okay, right now I'm not God, right now I'm not Krishna, I'm not God, but after I give up this body and I have enough knowledge and I'm pure enough, then I will become God. No, it's never gonna happen. So, in the Vedas, it is said, Shuddham apapa viddham. The individual Atma becomes polluted by sin, but the Lord is never contaminated by sins. The Lord is compared to the powerful sun. The sun is never contaminated by anything infectious because it is so powerful. On the contrary, infected things are sterilized by the rays of the sun. Similarly, the Lord is never contaminated by sins. On the contrary, the sinful living entities become sterilized by the contact with the Lord. So Krishna, he can never become overcome by sinful reactions. He never does anything sinful. He's all pure. Everything he does is full of purity. He himself is so pure that we who are always doing sinful things also become purified when we are coming in contact with him. And we are experiencing this to a little degree. As we are hearing and chanting more about Krishna, we are associating more with Krishna. So we feel that we are being purified. As the sun, when we put the sun, it purifies everything, with its powerful rays, it purifies. So this means that the Lord is also all-pervading like the sun, and as such, the word pratyak is used in this verse. Nothing is excluded from the expansions of the Lord's potency. The Lord is within everything, and he is all-covering also, without being disturbed by the activities of the individual souls. He is therefore infinite, and the living entities are infinitesimal. In the Vedas, it is said that only the Lord alone exists, and all others' existences depend on him. So our existence is dependent on Krishna. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadati sakaman. That there is one eternal soul and he, eternal supreme person, and he's maintaining all the other eternals. So we are always maintained by Krishna. We are always dependent on him, whether in this material world or even in the spiritual world. Even after we get liberated, it's Krishna who's maintaining the spiritual worlds. So, and we can't do anything. We can't maintain even this earth. What are we going to maintain the whole creation and this material and spiritual world? So, he is the generating reservoir of everyone's existential capacity. So he is the generating reservoir for everyone's existential capacity. We exist because Krishna is there. He is the reason that we are existing. He's unlimited. And so we are his tiny, tiny his tiny parts. He's the supreme truth of all other categorical truths. He's the source of everyone's opulence, and therefore no one can equal him in opulence. You know, we can never ever become Krishna. We're always trying to compete with him. We're always wanting to become Krishna, but we can never become Krishna. That's the last snare of Maya. That's how she last keeps us here. That, oh, you're not able to enjoy in the material world? Okay, doesn't matter. When you give up this body, you will become God. But this is how she catches us again, you know? So by clear understanding, we can see analytically understanding who is Krishna. He's creating all the universes. He's creating us. You know, we are not creating anything. We are the created. We do not have the capacity to create even one seed. What to say to create so many planets and universes. So we can stop here and continue reading tomorrow. But did anybody have any comments or questions?
I heard in some of the religions, they believe that Krishna came, like as you mentioned, that he can't do sins, but they believe that he has done a lot of sins and he's in hell now. And then after some time, when he'll bear all the results, then he'll born as their savior again and something like that.
Well,
So
yes.
so even I was confused that's not even possible, that as you mentioned that everything purifies that comes in contact with him, then
Yes, so you have to see what is their source of knowledge coming from. Are they hearing from the correct source, you know? So clearly not. The source of knowledge is not correct. For example, if I want to become a doctor and I'm not going to a medical university which is recognized that I will get a degree of a medical degree and I can practice to become a doctor, but instead I go and study from something which is not it's not certified by the government. You know, that is just some institution that is pretending to be a university but is not a university. That's the reason the government has not given it a license of education. But if I go there and I listen to them and I think whatever they're teaching me and I'm becoming a doctor, then it's basically, you know, I have not done my research well. So spiritual knowledge also has to be heard from authority, you know.
yeah. Thank you.
All thank you. Thank you so much. So we can end here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.